You didn't act for a while. You took a lot of time off, and oftentimes when people take as much time off as you took for like 5, 6 years, it takes a really special project to bring them back. What was it about this project that made you want to get back up on the horse?
I didn't have a choice. After the incident at the Golden Globes, everything just fell apart. And I just simply, when everything literally stopped, I just could not, whatever the agenda, whatever the plan was, it worked. I mean, I lost everything. So I couldn't afford to have an agent. I couldn't afford to have a publicist for crisis management to continue. It's not like I didn't want to. I had a wife and 3 kids.
Well, see, because the narrative was you just decided to take a break from everything. You didn't want to work.
I'm giving it to you straight.
Yeah.
No chaser. It's that I could not afford to continue. I went from $2 million a year to residual checks, 0. I couldn't even get another apartment after I turned in my lease for my $3 million home. I had to put it in my wife's name. No one wanted to touch the name of Isaiah Washington.
Wow.
For 3 years. So I had to resort to survival, speaking engagements with American Speaking Bureau, the people that were supporting of me. I just went underground. It wasn't by choice. And then I discovered Facebook. And all of my supporters are people that were to meet out, their opinions that were favorable to me. Then I used them as allies to feed myself and my family. And then I realized that I'm now in control of my brand, and that the rest of the world doesn't perceive me as this thing. So I started to travel more and more, and they would put me and my family on a plane, well over $500,000 worth of trips, and have me talk about, I wrote my book, I had time for that. I became a better husband, a better father, and then a better artist. And then I was open to receive the light again, and it came through Facebook, and that's how I found this guy.
Wow.
I wasn't looking for anything. I just didn't give up. I just said, God released me of this dynamic. You know the truth, you know my heart, but there's nothing I can do about it. I simply do not have the money or the power to compete with a behemoth of media that has already tried and convicted me, even though I'm saying this is not the truth. And I will continue to say that. Blew it at the Golden Globes, didn't happen like that in October between an argument between me and Patrick Dempsey. End of story. I talk about it in my book, talk about it on Larry King, but what people don't know is it didn't stop. The persecution continued. And then that's when I started to withdraw, because every time my agent wanted me to go out, you had to audition. I had to first go in, the thing was apologize for what you did, and then you got to audition. I'm like, well, wait a minute, every single opportunity was no longer an offer. I've been getting offers
right, at this point in your career.
For years, but then it was this thing where we don't see enough remorse. And I'm like, what if I actually did the crime, then you would have more remorse. But now I'm a criminal, I'm O.J. Simpson now.
Right.
I'm acquitted, but that's not enough. So Facebook was my only resort to the outside world, and then I had one person, couldn't afford to pay her, but she introduced me to Twitter. And that's the true story. And that's where, and now because it's working, I'm not going to change it.
Right.
I don't need to.
You don't want to jump back into the Hollywood scene again with the agents and that whole thing.
I don't have to. I'm sitting here with you. With the highly reviewed film that we showed up at Sundance, which goes now. I'm just looking to have Mark Zuckerberg say, okay, how do you want to start a fund to create, more films that we give more Stacey Muhammad's and Alexander Moore's and Patrick Ian Polk's and Ray Zodmir's, the people that are coming to me and floodgates, giving me submissions on Facebook, giving all this information, decide what I'm going to do, send it off to my entertainment lawyer, do the deal, and that's that. But it's not that I'm trying to prove a point. I didn't have a choice.
Right.
Right. Wherever I showed up, I was that pariah. So door slam, like get smart. This John Allen Muhammad is coming. It's like Omar is coming. That's who I was. I got bigots coming at me, inviting me to parties. Like, yeah, down with the gays. I'm like, no, down with you. So I'm fighting bigots on one hand, and then fighting people who actually think I'm a monster on the other hand.
Do you think the world's getting more clarity on that though? Because even in your future projects, you're dealing with characters that are dealing with gay sons. You're dealing. I mean,
But I would have done that anyway.
no doubt. I know this
anyway.
isn't a corrective kind of thing. This is actually you as an artist and you as who you are in your heart.
Yeah.
But do you think the world is catching up and realizing that you're not the person that you were painted to be? Do you think they're finally getting?
By the time they catch up, I'll already be in Africa building a studio. you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like I can't worry about that now. I have to treat all of this like I'm the CEO of my brand, and now that I'm in control of it, I have a phase 1, phase 2, phase 3 idea on how to get past a horrible, a tragic incident, and I think the people that suffered the most were the fans. So I'm just thrilled to the gills now that the supporters, the fans, the new fans, the people that have it straight or not, can go out and see an amazing artist do his thing and know that everybody on our set, they were not all straight. You know what I mean?
Right.
And the traditional sense of being homophobic is you're afraid of everything. Everyone is it's a horrible word. It's a horrible brand to put on anyone. But, I embrace it. I carry it because that's very African of me.
When you say I want to be clear because I don't want you to get misquoted. When you say you embrace it and you carry it, you don't embrace the term homophobic.
No, I embrace the service. I embrace what happened and know my participation in it. But I've moved on.
Exactly.
I've moved on, and hopefully I can't dictate what people are going to think. If you don't like me, you don't like me. I can't make anyone like me, but I can show you my heart through my work. I can continue to let you know that I have a wife and 3 lovely children that are in private school that love me. They don't see a monster or anything, but I can play a monster to get your attention so we can remind you that he too started off as a human. So
that's the complexity of this film, and that's what I appreciate about it. Alexander, did you have any reservations about working with Isaiah? Like, was anybody?
He didn't know I was on the TV show. He didn't know anything about it.
I was going to ask you that. I didn't know if you were like, no, not this guy. You didn't get the memo. You were at the meeting.
No, absolutely.
He just now started watching Grey's Anatomy.
Oh, wow.
And now he says he's addicted now. He's like, man, you're really good at Dr. You're really good at Dr. Burke.
Right.
That's why I love the French. I don't care what you say.
Right.
I don't care what you say.
Oh, what I said, wow. Now you got a French hate. As to talk to you, man. So you clearly, you just saw, what made you?
No, I love, I always say to my producer, Eisen Roberts, that only, he was like, who do you want? Who do you see that, to play the role of John? And I was like, well, what do you mean? I can pick anyone I want? And I was like, yeah, it doesn't hurt,
Yeah.
And I was like, well, Isaiah Washington, I think he's the only one. And my producer, they were like, oh, all right, let me get back to you on that, and they went scrambling. But, for me, I saw him, in the work he was doing in the 90s with Spike Lee and with Clint Eastwood in True Crimes and things like that, was just like state-of-the-art acting, it was like larger than anything I've seen. So, I still think, he's one of the best and have not the body of work that he should, but again, I missed 6 years of so,
it worked out.
I have to catch up on season 2 to 10.
And I'm thankful.
Yeah.
Right.